Hello, I hope that you're doing well. Here in the hospital, things are going all right for me personally. It's interesting that I was able just to get a little bit of information as to how people here were feeling about COVID and what's been happening. Had one person who was taking me around to have one of the different tests done, who had told me about how terrible it had been at the beginning of the situation, that people were coming in for little things, minor surgery, that kind of thing, and they were never walking out alive. And it had really troubled her and upset her about how many it had happened to. It was almost as though, we hadn't got the message yet. So it certainly is a trying thing. You look as well, 85,000 deaths in the United States, almost 300,000 people dead across the world in a virus that now, the way that they are speaking, could be here and be an ongoing thing, period. Certainly, that would not be the case in the event that a vaccine is found. But, things aren't coming out all bright and wonderful on that. Hear about, I'm going to say it wrong, but hydrochloroquine that has been so much in the news. The medicine that Donald Trump was suggesting was wonderful, and yet after a little while, here's another test results that are negative on its use. In fact, the White House's own testing for this disease has been shown to be flawed. That the error rate is 50% among the positives, the ones who are test positive for it, then the error rate is 50%. Well, that's insane. And in fact, it's being recommended that test be totally scrapped. Seems to me that is another example of a rush toward an answer that's not really there. If only there had been the testing and full consideration taken to make certain of what was being put out into the public use. And this seems to be a lot of the argument of with Dr. Bright, who is today in front of the House committee. And it's interesting how differently he's being treated in that committee as compared to the different witnesses were there the only other time I'm familiar with, which is in the impeachment hearings. Because certainly they believe that he's against, that Dr. Bright is against Donald Trump, therefore, all of the other terrible things must be true. He must be one of those horrendous Democrats, blah, 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 blah. But yet, they're somewhat reserved. They get their punches in, say all of their little taglines. But overall, except for the one representative from Georgia who was just adamant on continuing to go at him and question, despite all of his expired time, then, they've treated him rather respectfully. That's, I think, a tribute as well to them knowing that the people of the world are behind this man, what he was trying to make happen, which was ensure the proper testing was done before medicines were going out there. So the thing to me, though, today that is quite clear is that we are in bad shape. It's just, that's the way it is. There's no good answer. There's no good answer around how you open up. Any way it goes, it's going to be difficult. I don't necessarily agree with the full opening up. At the same time, then if they're not going to open full up, then the government needs to support people. I'm not saying that you provide companies with the profits, but you prevent companies from going bankrupt. You prevent owners from having to lose their business. And that's a hard situation. I understand that. But it's one that it comes with the responsibility of taking over a situation. And I think that's the responsibility of government. That's something that I think that we need to consider more fully, is what are our full responsibilities towards others. Everybody wants from us, we're supposed to give all of ourselves, but when we need it, on the other foot, what are the responsibilities of our government agencies in a total and complete manner? So I'll leave it there today. Trust you're doing well. Hopefully my journey from the hospital is one that will be able to end soon. And you take care.